from your standpoint, what's been new stories you've seen recently on Epstein that's been creating momentum since the last time we were together?
Well, I guess the most recent one, of course, is going to be these revelations that have come from the Wall Street Journal most recently about his private calendar, emails, a bunch of different things. Per the Wall Street Journal, they claim to have thousands of pages of documents, but I'm a little curious, where maybe they got these documents from, why now, and if they plan on publicly releasing any of that, because, of course, the reporting comes from the Wall Street Journal, and they refer to these documents, but none of those have been released to the public. And I'm personally a big fan of public transparency, but we're kind of in a post-WikiLeaks world, so tend not to get much of that source reporting anymore. But I would definitely like to see it, considering a lot of the names that have come out in connection with that.
It's great seeing Wall Street Journal doing this, though, right? Because they can't say it's a website or it's a blogger or it's somebody with this. When Wall Street Journal does it, you have to give it, you have to pay attention to it.
Yeah, but at the same time, and a lot of the reporting, the way it is this is what's in the documents, and then we talk to the person referenced, and of course the person distances themselves from Epstein and says, oh, well, I only went to them because he was wealthy, or I didn't know anything about this or that, and it's hard to know if that's really true, to be honest, because some people have claimed that, and then evidence has come out showing it was a bit different, and then they're like, oh, well, and nothing really happens,
You referenced a post-WikiLeaks world right now, obviously a reference to Julian Assange. Break that down. What does that mean since that transpired, over a decade ago, I want to say? Where do you see the current state of affairs today?
So I sort of, looking at like Assange and WikiLeaks, what they were doing, obviously, before Assange was incarcerated, was taking source documents that they received and putting them out for the public to look at and view and draw their own conclusions. And how investigative reporting has changed since then is, I think, pretty clear. I mean, you compare a lot of how WikiLeaks handled, their access to source documents versus something like the Twitter files, for example. I mean, there's a pretty big shift between then and now. And personally, I prefer the former model because more information, more transparency. I think that ultimately serves the public interest more.
How does that affect reporters like you today, whistleblowers, stuff like that? What the mindset of you guys doing this intense investigative journalism? How have things changed since WikiLeaks?
I intentionally, like what I do, I don't try and work with people that are in a position to face jail time for giving me information, because given what I know and what's pretty obvious about the surveillance state today, I don't feel like I can guarantee anyone's security.
That's intense.
Let me ask, how many people have actually reached out to you who are insiders saying, hey, can we talk offline because I have some information that I want to share with you?
I mean, a couple, but again, I don't live in the U.S., so it's hard for me just online to know that they're for real, and I don't want to, again, put anyone in a position of danger, so I tend to go with things that are public record, open source, but people that do want to work with those types of sources, everything that's happened with Julian Assange and WikiLeaks, and even with what happened with Snowden, and then a lot of the people that, for example, leaked documents or shared documents with The Intercept, for example, 3 of those guys went to prison. And that was after Snowden and Assange. So I think there's definitely been an intentional chilling effect on that sharing of transparency. And I think, obviously, that's in great detriment.
Now, Whitney, what about your personal, do you ever worry about them? I mean, because it's completely possible. If they could get to somebody in jail and say that he committed suicide, do you fear for your own safety at all?
Well, I mean, people ask me that a lot. But frankly, the state of the world today, I feel like it's incumbent on all of us to stand up and say something. And again, I'm not trying to work with classified information and stuff, I think if I was, it would be a different situation for sure. But I think also at the same time, if you live your life in fear, that's going to impede you from doing stuff that's important. And I'm really grateful for the platform I have today. And I have an ability to put information together that helps, people see some of these power structures that aren't necessarily visible to everyone. And I feel like it's, my duty and responsibility to do that because, frankly, the more people, we really need to raise awareness, I think, about these, power structures, these situations and how we got here because, especially if you're a parent of kids like I am, I mean, you just let things keep going this way. It's not going to be good for anybody.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.